Ban kham ya shai Menteri Rangwa Kejala ukan ke sangma menta ka khat pra tarik jamang arja arpolai ula penshai halor karukam pentrekam ya ka roster system. Watla ke sing san perthei ki badan lang haka sorkar MDA tu kila shai ulang badang don ki benta ba kirang kwa banya thir khambha. Kejingyalang halor ka roster system kan beteng biang la shai kasngi bat barok ke sing san perthei.
Cadre size. So then some it will be a 10-point roster, some points it will be 20-point roster, some cadres it will be 100-point roster. In some concerns, some areas it will be even a 200 plus point cadre roster system. So that's why every cadre and the strength of the cadre will determine the roster points. Unanimous in the sense that they have taken the points, they have understood it, they have appreciated what the different points we've made. They have still a lot of doubts because, as I said, I tried to explain some points. You can understand it's complicated. So it's much more complicated than what I told you just now. So there are many scenarios that will develop through that, many complications. So all those things were explained to them. So whatever they could grasp at that point in time, I'm sure that they have found it quite satisfactory. But they have a lot of questions. They have said that please allow us to absorb what has been just shown to us. A lot of information was shown, and they've said that we'll discuss it, and we'll, if necessary, if you have more doubts, we'll come back. Different subject. That is an issue that can be discussed, may be discussed. That we are not talking about as of now. As of now, the subject in front of us is the roster system and implementation of that. So hence we are taking that first part, and we are trying to resolve that issue because that is something that is mandated by the High Court. The broader discussion on reservation policy is something that is not going to be discussed in this yesterday or today or tomorrow. So these 3 days have been specifically kept for roster system, to implement the roster system in view of the court order and to ensure that the reservation policy which was made in 1972 is implemented in letter and spirit. Correct, because reservation is a different subject, but a roster without a reservation without a roster is meaningless. But talking about reservation, talking about roster and not touching reservation is not going to make any sense. That's not correct at all. You have to understand what a roster is. The roster is basically a scheme or a process or a schedule to implement the reservation policy in letter and spirit. Now what that means, so let me start explaining so that all of you are also on board. What reservation does is that it allows certain reservations in certain categories. Now these reservations then, when the posts are advertised, then the reservation policy is applied. Now in the past, what used to happen, if there were 10 vacancies that used to be vacancies were advertised, the reservation policy would apply 4-4-1-1 or whatever the ratio is. Now, in the absence of a roster system, then when the next 10 positions would come out, or 2 or 3 positions would come out, again the reservation policy would apply in the 4-4.5 and 1 version, 1.5. Now, when the reservation comes in, it actually charts out and prepares a schedule of which category, which post will go to which category. So if the reservation comes out tomorrow, a roster comes out tomorrow for reservation, it'll plot exactly that was position number 1 is meant for unreserved, position number 2 is for Khasi Jantia, position number 3 is for Garo, position number 4 will be for Khasi Jantia, position number 5 will be for Garo, position number 6 will be for Khasi Jantia. It plots those points in the sense that tomorrow if there is an appointment or an interview call for 3 posts, that means there will be 1 post for unreserved, 1 for Khasi, and 1 for Garo. That's what a roster does. Now, if the 4th position comes out tomorrow for an interview, so number 1, number 2, number 3 is done. The number 4 position is for a Khasi. Hence, the advertisement will say 1 LDA post for Khasi category. If again after a year 1 more post comes out, that's number 5 position. That's meant for a Garo. And hence, the advertisement will say LDA position for a Garo. So roster system allows the implementation of a reservation policy in letter and spirit and allows the exact schedule of the post to be appointed. That's what a roster is. And hence, a roster, a reservation policy without a roster will not implement the reservation policy in true letter and spirit. But it's the question of discussing reservation policy is completely different subject. So I have their views and suggestions and we've noted them down.
So when likely
The decision is actually taken, and that's the line that we are moving forward in. And now we are reaching out to all the stakeholders and MLAs and explaining to them that what the system that the government is following.
so
Presentation that we have given to the cabinet yesterday. We have given the same presentation today to the MLAs of the NDA, and of course, as I mentioned earlier, also that the entire concept of roster system is complicated in nature, and hence they had a lot of queries, and we have tried to clarify as much as possible, and to a large extent they have been able to grasp the points, and whatever queries they had, we have tried to clarify those queries. And it's a simple formula that's been followed. I've been telling everybody now, for example, I can't explain this if I don't have a chart, but as I said, if position number 4, say suppose was meant for a Khasi community, position number 5 was meant for Garo community, position number 6 was meant for Khasi community. Just be with me. So 4, 5 and 6. 4 for Khasis, 5 for Garos and 6 for Khasi. Now suppose we have reached point number 3 and there are 3 posts going to be identified. The advertisement will say 2 posts for Khasis, 1 for Garo. Now tomorrow somebody can come and tell me, well, why are they getting more? Because that's what the roster is. That's what the system is. It puts into place certain points that are there, which are meant for certain communities, and that's how it happens. There is no advantage to any person. It is just that when reservation is there, a roster has to be there. It is what is mandated by Government of India and Supreme Court. And hence, Meghalaya should have implemented the roster system from day one. Because as I said, the roster system allows a particular post which is meant for a certain community to go to that community. So as I said, now try to be with me out here and I'll try to explain to you. If the other scheduled tribes and other scheduled castes which have 5% reservation, if you look at a 100-point roster, 5% means 5 posts will go to them in 100 posts. Are you with me? So 5 posts will go in 100 posts, 5 posts will go to other tribes and other scheduled tribes and other scheduled caste. Which means every 20th post, post number 20, post number 40, post number 60, and post number 80 and post number 100 will be for other scheduled tribes and other scheduled caste. Now if the roster system is not present, we will keep repeating 40, 40, 15, 20 and it will keep going in the system. Now tomorrow, if we have finished 19 recruitments and there is 1 post that comes out for the 20th one and said 1 post, what will that advertisement say? It will say 1 LDA post for other scheduled tribe and other scheduled caste. It will not say Khasi, it will not say Garo, it will not say UR. Because it is meant, the roster has set a system and a schedule for the other scheduled caste or tribe to get that post on the 20th post that comes out. That is what roster is. So it's not meant to give any benefit to anybody. It is meant to ensure that reservation policy is implemented in letter and spirit.